Hello there, counselors. We are back with video number 3. You have collected, analyzed, and synthesized all your data. You know what your student needs are. You know what standards you're going to cover to address them both at the same time. So now it's time to start planning your actual lesson. First things first, you have to get them hooked. You have to get your students interested right away, spark their interest right when you walk through the door so that they want to know more about what you are telling them and you have their attention. They're not going to be thinking about other things. You want them to be focused on you and what you have to say. Okay, so how do you do that? There are lots of ways that you can hook your students' interest. You can get them involved, make sure you're not only thinking of this as a solo performance. You can use them for demonstrations and experiments, whatever the case may be, get them involved too. It doesn't have to just be you on stage. Maybe by this point you are wondering why I'm wearing a witch's hat. This is my first tip for you on hooks. Show up in a costume, show up with a cool prop or a hat, whatever it takes. I have a unit that is magic themed. We do a motion potion, casting a kindness spell, things like that. So I'll show up in a Harry Potter tie, a witch's hat, whatever it takes. The second I walk through the door, they want to know what I'm doing, they want to know what I'm thinking and what it has to do with them, and they think it's funny that I'm dressed up. I also have a sports themed self-regulation unit, so it's great to show up in a jersey, maybe wear some eye blackout. The whole point is that they are interested, and when they see that you're excited about something, they're going to be excited too. Now, for younger students, some great hooks, of course, are books and videos. I'm sure you're already using those with your younger students. They love it when you read to them. They love it when you show them a quick video, maybe a Pixar short. I also really like to use stuffed animals or puppets with them. The second that they see a stuffed animal or a puppet, they want to touch it, they want to hold it, so they want to know what it is they need to do to be able to do that. Now, when I have a stuffed animal, I'll introduce it and I'll say something along the lines of, I have a friend who wants to teach us a new skill today, but he's very shy, so we need to calm our bodies and bring the sound level in the room down so that he feels comfortable coming out to teach us this skill. I'll use this especially in a mindfulness unit that I have. It's all animal themed, so this is our journaling giraffe. And once they hear that there's an animal friend, they want to make the animal comfortable too, especially if they know they'll get the chance to hold him afterwards. Okay, so here are a few more ideas for hooks. You can ask your students for help with a problem. So I have an organization lesson that I do when the students are needing some help understanding school success and what they can do to set themselves up for success. When the teachers really want an organization lesson for their students, I'll come in with a big tote bag that's totally messy, not at all organized, and I'll say, I'm looking for this one specific item for our lesson today, but I can't find it. Can you help me? I'll dump out my big messy bag all over the table, and of course they all want to help. They want to be the one person who finds the item that I need. And of course, inevitably, someone will always tell me, oh, you should really get more organized. This is so messy. And so that'll lead into a great discussion of why it's important to be organized and what we can do to set ourselves up for success. And kind of along those same lines, sometimes I will have task cards or puzzles, something like that needs to be matched up. And I'll come into the room and I'll say, I have these cards for us for our lesson today, but I just dropped them out in the hall and they're all mixed up. Can you help me organize them? And they all want to help, of course. So I'll give them the task cards, puzzles, whatever it is. And it may be something that has a true match, or it may be something that could be sorted in a few different ways. In that case, they're getting the chance to use teamwork skills. They're going to talk about something, problem solving. You may see some leadership roles coming out. So you get to see a lot of different skills in that area. And while they're doing it, the whole point is they're looking at your task cards, they're looking at your puzzle, and they want to know more. It's going to be related to your lesson topic that you're going to be covering, so it's going to pique their interest a little bit while they're helping you organize. Another way to get them involved in problem solving is to pose a problem to them. Say, I have a student or I have a friend who's dealing with this problem. We're really stumped. We don't know what to do. What ideas do you have to help them solve the problem? Now, they all want to help the student, especially, they'll of course want to know who it is, but that's a secret and it's probably not a real person anyway. But they want to help the person and they want to share their expertise. So that's a great way for you to also assess what they already know about a topic. So maybe pose a problem about a student who needs help with conflict resolution. You'll get to see what they already know about conflict resolution and where you may need to fill in some gaps with your instruction. So it serves as your hook and it can serve as a pre-assessment as well. Now, with older students, something that I like to do is an article analysis or a picture analysis. So I'll bring in some really short, high interest writing pieces about a specific topic, whatever we're covering that day. And I'll give small groups a short article to read together, and I'll just ask them to come up with 1 or 2 or 3 takeaway points from it, or the big picture ideas that they got from the article. Or if we're doing a picture analysis, I'll give the students a picture and I'll ask them to draw conclusions based on it. Maybe infer how someone is feeling, or make guesses about what happened before this picture, or guesses about what's going to happen afterwards. So you're getting them to use those higher level thinking skills. And if you're using pictures of kids who are around their age, they really want to know the backstory. So they make their guesses, they make their inferences, but then they really want you to give them the information as well. So they're super interested because they see themselves in the pictures. This works really well for empathy lessons. So maybe you show them a picture of someone who's sitting there with a really angry or grumpy face, and they may make some inferences that aren't so positive about the person, but then afterwards you can give them a backstory about something that happened before that, to help them grow their understanding of looking past someone's facial expression and considering the situation around it. Now, this is another hook that is really fun for students of all ages. So you can make touch bags. Basically what that is a bag that is not transparent, so the students can't see through it at all. And you put items inside and have the students reach their hand in and guess what it is. Now, this is really great for if you're introducing your students to a calm down corner. Maybe the teacher's setting it up and you want to teach the students how to use all of the items appropriately. So you can put things like a koosh ball or a stress ball in there. You can put some tangles in there. You can even get some of the sequin mermaid fabric and cut squares of that and put it in a bag. And then you just have the students come up and reach their hands inside the bag and feel it and try to guess what it is. This is a really high interest hook because of course all of the students want to be right. They want to be the person who guesses the correct thing that's in the bag. So that's really fun for the little kids and for the older kids because they always want to guess and be right as well. Now, as you're thinking about your hooks, think about props that you could bring into. Maybe things you have in your basement or in your garage if you're not using anymore. Think of a way that you can tie it into a counseling lesson. So here's just a quick example, and I'm sure you guys can think of a lot more, but we used pool noodles to make boats, and I attached an anchor to one of them, and then I had the students blow on them to see which one made it across a little kiddie pool faster, and of course the one that doesn't have an anchor on it wins the race. And we talk about how when hard things are going on in our lives, they can kind of bring us down, and it led into our coping skills lesson. So we talked about how we can lift the anchor by using coping skills. So think about what props you already have and how you could repurpose them for your hooks in your classroom guidance lessons. Okay, another really great way to get your students interested from the start is to do an experiment. And of course, what comes to mind first is making a volcano for your anger lesson. But this would be a great opportunity to team up with your science teacher and find out what simple experiments you could open with, and I'm sure you'll be able to find a way to tie them into a counseling lesson at some point. And when you have ideas for this, bring it to the Facebook group so we can all share your ideas and find out more. Now, I listed a bunch of hooks in your handout. I'll mention one more of them here, and that is using technology. So of course all the students want to use technology. If you have a situation where you have students who are one-to-one having tablets or computers, you can do things like a Kahoot game or a survey. You could use it as a pre-assessment, or you could just find out more about their own interest. But once you use the technology, they're going to be interested and want to know more about what's going on right away. Now, as you think about your hooks, remember, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So if you have a hook that went really well and was a really high interest activity for your students, think of ways that you could repurpose it or tweak it to fit another lesson. There's no reason for you to have to come up with different ideas every single time, because if it's an activity that your students enjoyed, they're still going to enjoy it even with another topic. Just tweak it a little bit to find a new way to use it so you can get them engaged right away. So there are so many ways to get your students interested from the start, whether you're asking them for help or showing up in your old Halloween costume. So I cannot wait to hear what hooks are working well for you and what your students have really enjoyed. This is a great time to share those ideas in the Facebook group. And on that note, your challenge for this week in the bottom of your page in your workbook is to think of 3 hooks that went really well for you. What did your students really enjoy, and what really got their interest sparked right away? And then think about how you can repurpose those activities to fit another lesson. This is a great one to share in the Facebook group because we all need more hooks all the time to get our students engaged. So snap a picture of your challenge page and post it in the Facebook group so that we can see your great ideas. I will see you soon for video number 4, which is all about interactive instruction.